you've ever cut out bread, rice, pasta, or even fruit because you've been told that carbs were the reason why you couldn't lose weight, you're not alone. In fact, some of the women that I work with now came to me before eating 50 to 100 grams of carbs per day because they've been told that carbs were the enemy. And then they're exhausted by the middle of the day, their workouts take a hit, and their cravings come on stronger later on at night, and they're still wondering why fat loss isn't happening. And if it does, it usually isn't sustainable for most women because carbs are one of the most misunderstood nutrients in nutrition. And yes, there are certain situations and for certain people where lowering your carb intake to around 50 to 100 grams per day can be beneficial. But for most women, you don't need to fear carbs. You don't need to cut out carbs. You just need to understand how to use them properly. So in this video, I'm going to break down exactly what carbs do in your body, why they get such a bad reputation, which carbs are actually worth prioritizing, whether carb timing matters, and how to know if you're actually eating the right amount of carbs for your goals. So let's talk about why carbs get a bad rep. So if carbs aren't fattening, then why do people believe that they are? Or why do they cut them out when their goal is weight loss, right? So a lot of this stems from mainstream diets such as the Atkins diet or the keto diet, for example. The reason why these diets work in the beginning is because when you cut your carbs so low, your body is then going to turn to its stored glycogen in your muscles in order to get that same type of fuel. And for every 1 gram of glycogen, your body is going to store 3 to 4 grams of water. So when you drastically slash your carbs and slash your glycogen, you're also going to lose a lot of water weight. Water still plays a role when it comes to weight. So when you step on the scale, you will see a sudden decrease in the number. And then eventually you're going to reintroduce carbs back into your diet. And then your body is going to hold on to more water from the carbs that you're now eating. You're going to step on the scale. You're going to see the number go up. And you're going to think that carbs are the reason why you gained weight. In reality, fat loss and weight loss isn't the same thing. Yes, carbs do cause fluctuations in scale weight, but it doesn't mean that you gain body fat. What determines gaining weight or gaining body fat is being in a calorie surplus over time. I had a client who came to me and she was eating less than 100 grams of carbs per day, wondering why she felt exhausted during her shifts, why she didn't have any energy to go to the gym or even simply go on a walk, and why her cravings came on stronger later on at night. It's because she was restricting the one macronutrient that's used for primary fuel. So I gradually increased her carbs so that she can train harder in the gym, have more stable energy, and still lose body fat. So let's talk about what the role of carbs actually is, because a lot of women don't understand this. So carbs aren't your only source of energy and fuel, but it is your body's preferred source of energy and fuel. So when you eat carbs such as bananas or bread, your body is going to break them down into glucose into your bloodstream. And whatever fuel you don't use immediately, your body is going to store it later on as glycogen in your muscles. The glucose that you get from when you eat carbs or that you use from your stored glycogen is what's going to fuel your workouts. It's what's going to help you have energy during your long walks. Or even things you tend to not think about, such as standing all day at work or chasing after your kids. Your brain also relies heavily on glucose for fuel, and that's why when you drastically cut it out, some people might have brain fog or they're just generally exhausted and they're just irritable and tired. Now, does this mean that you need to eat a massive amount of carbs? No, but this just means that you do need to understand the role of carbs so that you can actually use them to work with your body. Just like protein and fat, carbs also contain calories, and fat gain happens when you're consuming more calories over time than your body needs. So carbs aren't the villain that they've been made out to be. So let's talk about simple versus complex carbs, because the distinction does matter, especially if we're talking about cravings, hunger, and just your overall energy throughout the day. Simple carbs digest very quickly. So these are things such as juice, white rice, chips, or soda. Complex carbs typically take longer to digest because they contain more nutrients and more fiber, such as oatmeal, such as blueberries, or sweet potatoes. Now, this doesn't mean that simple carbs are bad and complex carbs are good. It's about knowing how your body responds to it once you consume it. Carbs that contain more fiber digest more slowly, so they keep you fuller for longer and give you stable energy. So think about eating a big bowl of sugary cereal with a side of orange juice versus eating a bowl of oatmeal with protein and a high fiber fruit on the side. One of them is going to leave you hungry 1 hour later, and the other one is going to leave you more full for hours. So this is where people often hear the term blood sugar crash, because when you eat these fast, simple carbs in large amounts with little to no physical activity after, your blood sugar is going to quickly spike, followed by a sudden decrease. And then what happens is you're going to feel tired, you're going to feel sluggish, and you're going to crave more after. So choosing more higher fiber carbs is what's going to help prevent prevent that sudden spike and crash because it's going to give you stable energy by more so stabilizing your blood sugar so that you don't feel irritable and that you don't feel sluggish after eating, because you're not supposed to feel that way after you eat food or even carbs after all. Food is supposed to give you fuel, not make you tired. And if it does make you tired, you probably just ate too many carbs in one sitting. Have you ever heard of the saying that breakfast is the most important meal of the day? I actually agree, because what you eat in the morning at the start of your day is going to set the tone for how you feel and how you perform. And if you have a job or a career that requires you to be mentally sharp and focused, then what you eat when you first wake up matters. And honestly, this is one of the biggest mistakes that I see women make is they skip breakfast in the morning, especially if you train early in the morning instead of understanding the proper foods to eat. And if that's you, I'm going to leave a link in the first line of the description down below so that you can book a one-on-one call with me where I can personally help you create a nutrition plan that fits your lifestyle. So now let's dive into carb timing for building muscle. One of the questions I get is, does carb timing actually matter? Simply meaning what time of the day you eat your carbs or when during the day you eat your heaviest amount of carbs. And yes, it absolutely does matter, but for most women, it's not as important as social media makes it seem. If your goal is to build more muscle, improve your performance in the gym, and recover the right way, timing your carbs around your workouts can be beneficial. Before lifting, carbs is what give you that fast, available energy in order to train harder and lift heavier so that you can build more muscle. And after lifting, carbs is what's going to replenish your glycogen that you just lost during your session so that you can recover faster and stabilize your hunger. What about eating carbs at night? Now, contrary to popular belief, eating carbs in the evening or in the nighttime is not automatically going to contribute to you gaining fat. What a lot of women don't know is that eating carbs in the evening can help support better sleep by increasing melatonin production. So when you eat carbs, it's going to help your body produce an essential amino acid called tryptophan. And tryptophan is what's going to play a role in increasing melatonin production. So that's the same hormone that's responsible for making you feel tired and sleepy once you start to see that the sun is going down. So if you enjoy eating things such as oatmeal, fruits, rice, or potatoes in the later evening, you don't need to fear them. In fact, they actually probably are going to help you with your recovery and your sleep. What's most important is your calorie intake and your consistency over time, not whether you ate a potato at 7 p.m. So now let's talk about carb cycling. So all this is eating more carbs on one day and eating fewer carbs on another. So this is usually done around your heavier training days. For example, let's say you're hitting leg day where you have a lot of intensity and a lot of volume that you're bringing. This is going to look like having a higher carb day for that session. Now, on a day where you're resting or you might just be focusing on steps, this is going to look like having a lower carb day because you're not going to actually be burning through as much energy and calories as you would on a heavier training day. For athletes or bodybuilders or those who have very specific goals, carb cycling can be a useful tool, but for most women and most beginners, it's probably something that you don't really need to focus or stress over because most women aren't struggling because they're not implementing carb timing or carb cycling. They're struggling because they're inconsistent with the basics. Now, you should understand the concept of carb cycling because it can be very practical if you know that you're going out to eat over the weekend or that you know that you're going to have a date night. So you might be eating more carbs or more calories than you typically would. This is going to look like having a lower calorie or a low carb day throughout the work week so that you can still enjoy those foods when you go out, but all while still keeping your body in that deficit. If you know you're going to be eating pasta at an Italian restaurant Saturday night, maybe on Thursday and Friday, this is going to look like saying no to dessert. But before worrying about carb cycling, focus more on staying active, hitting your protein intake, hitting your step goals, and most importantly, staying consistent with all of it. Those factors have a much bigger impact on your results. So here are my practical recommendations on how we can tie this back into real life, especially if you're somebody who's working long shifts. First thing I want you to do is start out by building your meals with protein and fiber first, non-negotiable. Protein is going to help with muscle growth and recovery. Fiber is going to help with stabilizing your energy, your blood sugar, and keeping you fuller for longer. Then add fruits and vegetables daily to help increase fiber, to help increase your nutrients and your overall fullness. From there, you then want to include carbs to that meal based on your activity level and your lifestyle. So what this is going to look like, if you know that you have a heavy leg day coming up and you have a higher step goal of around 15,000 steps, this is going to look like going for 1 cup of potatoes instead of half a cup of potatoes like you normally would on rest days. If you know you're going to have a longer cardio session, maybe this is going to look like going for 1 full banana instead of half of a banana. If you're strength training consistently, walking, running, or even working long 12-hour shifts, carbs is what's going to help support your performance, support your recovery, and help give you stable energy. So don't be afraid of things such as white rice, such as potatoes or oatmeal. These things can definitely fit into a healthy diet if you portion them appropriately. Because at the end of the day, successful nutrition isn't about eliminating carbs. It's about learning how to use them strategically, how your body responds to it, choosing quality carbs most of the time, and staying consistent long enough to actually see results. If you're someone who's just tired of figuring it out on your own and you want a simple nutrition strategy that tells you exactly what to buy in the grocery store, how to structure your meals, exactly how much to eat, and how to still lose body fat without cutting out the foods that you love, click the first link in the description down below to apply for one-on-one coaching with me. I'll personally review your application and reach out to you, and if it seems like we're a good fit, we can hop on a Zoom call together one-on-one so that we can map out a plan on what your next steps should be. So click on the first link down below in the description and we'll chat soon.